Live from the backstretch at historic Saratoga Race Course, this is Racing Across America with Seth Merrow. Racing Across America is brought to you by Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. And the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. When you can't make it to the track, make it to the Clubhouse Racebook.
Also brought to you by Wizard Race and Sports.
Good morning. Welcome to Racing Across America on this Thursday morning. Travers week, big weekend ahead. Personal ensign tomorrow. Idiomatic randomized. We'll have Brad Cox on in a little bit to talk a little bit about idiomatic. So big weekend ahead. Should be a lot of fun. Again, Brad will join us in a few to hit on idiomatic and some of his other runners coming up and some of the runners he's had just recently. And we'll get updates on horses like Saudi Crown and others. A little bit later on, Kevin Cox will join us, a little handicapping. And then towards the end of the program, we're going to have Lisa Elovich come in. Capital TV sponsoring a boxing event downtown next week, and we'll get just a little bit of information on that as well. But top of the show on a Thursday, always the DRF team, Mike Welch and Dave Grening in the rotation this week. Our friend Dave Grening. Dave, good morning.
Good morning, Seth. My last for the meet.
That's right. Well, who knows? It could be an emergency call.
Okay.
But you, Mike, and you called in the extra guns to do the workouts. We always talk the workout report. Great information, gives you a little something maybe other people don't have. You can check out drf.com for that. Anything this morning notable?
I haven't seen much this morning on the track. I was chasing trainers down and getting in conversations with them, so I didn't see a whole lot happening on the track this morning.
All right. Like I say, you brought in the extra guns for the workouts. So, but again, good information there available. Let's talk a little bit about last weekend. First up, I pulled up Greash winning in the Lake Placid. Gets it done for Chad Brown, but one of the reasons I pulled this up on board Greash, Flavian Prat. And again, I think there's a number of fun stories this year on the human side of things. We had Jen Paragallo in yesterday, who got her first Saratoga win, a local. But on the jockey side of things, Flavian Prat with the number of stakes wins, including this one just last weekend, just phenomenal.
He's having an outstanding meet. He's threatening the modern-day record. I guess we'll call it of most stakes wins at a meet. I have him as 11. It's 15, Johnny V and Joel Rosario. He's got, I believe, 7 graded stakes wins. I think it might be 12, might be the number there for a record. He's just right. He's making every right decision. Yeah. He's had a few decisions to make as it comes to this weekend's, who to ride in some of these races. I detailed that a little bit in the story I had in the Thursday racing form. Most notably in the Allen Jerkins, he's probably had 4 of the top 5 prices. They could have ridden either one. He chose domestic product, and he kind of explains why a little bit there. And then in the Travers, he has, I know everyone thinks it's a no-brainer to take Sierra Leone over Unmatched Wisdom, but he's really a big fan of Unmatched Wisdom. If you talk to him about that horse, he's been on board that horse, not only in the afternoons, but in the mornings, and he's really likes that horse. And it wasn't as easy as it may seem, but you have to stick with the horse who's probably the more seasoned horse when you look at this particular race on this particular day. But if Unmatched Wisdom becomes a Grade 1 winner down the road and he's not on him, he might say some choice words. Maybe he won't say it in English, but he'll say some choice words.
Interesting. Also Saturday, the Alabama, again, one of the highlights of the meet as far as the Grade 1 stakes. And I'll put this down as maybe one of the more exciting races when the meet ends. Number 3, Power Squeeze, gets it done over number 7, Candy. I said yesterday we watched this replay, and I said I was surprised when they put the photo up, the margin. I thought it was going to be inches, and it wound up to be a legitimate head on the bob. But again, it was a nice battle between Power Squeeze and Candied in the Alabama.
Well, we have some horses on the grounds here that really like to get into a battle, and Power Squeeze is certainly one of them. She won one at Delaware over a horse named Sidamara, trained by Bill Mott, who missed this race because of a temperature fever. And but she comes back in here, and a bit of an underappreciated horse in Power Squeeze. She's won 5 stakes this year, many different racetracks, and always, she doesn't win them by a lot, but she wins them, and that's a sign of a good horse that can overcome certain things. And I give credit to Candy too. I thought this was a race where Candy might not fit. I thought the 1.25 miles for a horse that typically doesn't change the leads might prove to be a little too far, but she ran brilliantly in defeat and Of course, my horse ran third, Just Basking, who had a bit of a wide trip, but is a nice filly too. But, these are, Power Squeeze, not that she needs to be flattered at all. Torpedo Anna I'm talking about, but Torpedo Anna handled Power Squeeze a few times earlier this year. I mean, I'm sure they were heartened to see Power Squeeze win the Alabama.
Yeah, and I had, speaking of Just Basking, I talked to Phil Gleaves, said hello to me, and he was with Ian Wilkes walking out of the paddock, and I said, I think coming off of the Iowa Oaks, it seemed like kind of a light bulb moment. And then I said to him after the race, I thought she ran really well. I think being lightly raced, I think Just Basking may be one to watch going forward too.
Yeah, it's interesting what surface and distance she'll actually excel on, because they're not going to get another chance to run a mile and a quarter. Of these fillies aren't going to really get a chance on dirt. But maybe she's got some turf in there. She does have some turf in her pedigree, and maybe she ultimately finds herself running long on the turf and becomes something really good there. Because, I was talking to Ian the other day, and, do you really cut back to a mile and 16th in the cotillion, or do you try to look for something else, maybe a little further and maybe on the grass? So we'll see.
Interesting. And I wanted to show one more just because I've been talking about it now for a couple of weeks and had Dylan in the other day, but I wanted to show Nelson Avenue from the other day because at $19, another big price. And I said there's been some fun stories. And Dylan, I don't remember a jockey on a roll through the meet like this with the prices he has put up. I think he's been a fun story too.
He's been a great story, and got that grade 1 win in the States on Carson's Run with a tremendous ride that day. He had a couple of grade 1 wins prior to that, but they were in Canada, and this one to win his first grade 1 in the States at Saratoga. He went to Saratoga High School. He's from this area. I'm sure I know it was a big moment for him. And it's great to see that he's had, he didn't just have a couple of weeks good. Like it didn't just
it's been the entire meet.
The entire meet. And I remember, I think when I wrote a story about him, I think all 10 winners or 11 winners that he had at that time were double-digit prices. And then I think he actually had one that paid 2-1. Might have been off the turf race or something.
I said to him, what went on with that one?
Yeah, exactly. But then he went back to producing horses that paid double digits. And he's always been a good rider. He's got better opportunities now. And it's good to see it paying off for him. And we'll see how it, hopefully he can take off from here, through the fall downstate and, in the winter as well.
On Twitter, I think it was Nick Tamero put out on Twitter the end of a couple of weeks ago, before last week, that he had a ROI. He had a list of ROI for jockeys. None of the others were over $2. Right. Dylan was at $3.54. That was coming into that week. Then he gets the Kathleen O'Connell winner on a Wednesday for $50 and puts in like three $20 winners last week. So it's like I said, I don't remember a run like this. But all right, let's so there's a little review. Let's do a little preview as well. And let's start things out with tomorrow. Mentioned it already. The Phipps idiomatic Ding Dong Battle. We'll watch a replay of her last race with the Ding Dong Battle down at Monmouth with Brad. But I wanted to pull up the other interesting runner in here is going to be randomized coming out of the Ogden Phipps, but beats idiomatic there by a head. So this is notable too. The Phipps race on that Belmont Stakes at Saratoga weekend. What are your thoughts on the Phipps or in the personal ensign tomorrow?
Yeah, it's a fun race. In this particular race that you're watching now, randomized got off poorly and was wide into the first turn, and she still fights on and makes a run at randomized who, kind of got things her own way and just had enough to hold off idiomatic. These two, it's a coin toss. I mean, there's really they're equal in my book. Randomized. If I gave a slight edge, I might give it to randomized just from the standpoint of how well she runs here. She's 3-time stakes winner on the surface at Saratoga. Her only loss came in her career debut sprinting, and I don't think she's when you win the Alabama, I think you've proven that you're not a sprinter. But she's won the Wilton, the Alabama, and the Phipps, and it's a coin flip. And I would maybe just give a small smidge advantage to randomized. Although in talking to Florent Drew yesterday about idiomatic, he thought he had some excuses. Obviously the Phipps, she got off slowly wide. And then in the other race, she kind of got pinned in a little bit. It was a slow race. And he said that when he first asked her to run, she just was like, nah, I don't want to do it just yet. And then when she got challenged by Soul of an Angel, she's okay, I'll get to it. And she did. And she's a champion. She's lost once in 13 months by a head to randomize. So I'm not taking anything away from her. But again, I might just give a small I'll put it this way: if somebody other than one of these two wins it, I'll be surprised.
Soul of an Angel off the last race certainly, I think, is a player.
Mile and eighth, though, I think that's
Okay,
that's testing her. She didn't really run that well in the Phipps at a mile and eighth, and I think even talking to Saffie Joseph, even he thinks that's the one question mark here. If this was a mile 16th, I'd say she's probably more of a player. Mile and eighth, I think, starts to separate them a little bit.
And again, this is a 5-horse field, but with these two in here, it's going to be one of the better races of the week.
And look, Raging Sea is not impossible, especially how well Chad does with the other horse that he runs in the race. And she's gotten better. And her last race was a win here in the Shuvi. Maybe she's just improved that much. But I think she would have to have the pace. Like I would think she would have Idiomatic and have to have Idiomatic or Randomized just ding dong and to set it up for her. But that wouldn't be impossible.
So again, that's tomorrow. Let's move on to Saturday. We'll work our way back from the Travers on a really, really nice stakes afternoon on Saturday. And the Travers, we've said it now, and everybody seems to agree the past couple of weeks. Torpedo Anna choosing the Travers kind of made both races a little bit better. The Alabama got a better field last week, and she just adds a really nice story. The workout yesterday adds a little intrigue where Kenny said, pulling the arms out of the sockets for the jockey. We'll see how that works out. I pulled up a replay of the Haskell. Dornock, the number 1, is going to be the winner here. Mindframe, number 7, runs second. Timberlake, who's in Saturday, the number 4, runs third. You mentioned Unmatched Wisdom, who is very lightly raced, but undefeated for Chad and Klarovich. Fierceness is obviously very attractive as well. Sierra Leone off the second and the Jim Dandy behind Fierceness. Intriguing field. What are your thoughts on the Travers?
It's a very intriguing field. I'm probably going to have to go back to Sierra Leone one more time. I've been on this horse for as many for everybody.
Everybody this week has said that. I'll give this one more shot.
It seems like we're all in the same kind of camp, and I just think the setup here is right for him. The pace, whether it's Fierceness or Dornock or Batten Down, or some people think Unmatched Wisdom, although I don't necessarily think he's going to the front. But I just think I liked Sierra Leone's performance, or the way he ran straight. I thought he ran straight in the Jim Dandy. He was pushed down by Batten Down the stretch, but he wasn't lugging in. And I think with a couple tinkerings with the bit and equipment, I think they got him going straight now. Now he just needs the trip, and I think Saturday he'll get the trip. And in a race where, going back to one of the first topics we talked about, Flavia and Pratt, maybe Pratt's the difference maker here. And the mile and a quarter, the pace, Pratt, it all just sort of tilts me over to Sierra Leone. On top of the fact that I've always liked this horse and just think he's, might just have the advantage in this particular race. Dornock, to me, is an underappreciated horse who's really, really good, who doesn't get all the credit he deserves, because it's always, this happened, but that happened, but he won, but to me, it's like, no, but he won. Was the speed favoring track at was the Aqueduct track speed favoring when they Remstead? Yeah. But did Sierra Leone pass him? Did Jose Ortiz was all over him with an elbow in the fist? Yes. Was the Fountain of Youth scratched down to 5 horses and all the contenders? Yeah. But did Ladon Bro take a shot at him and challenge him off a 4-month layoff? Yes. Bluegrass, he rated. Bad decision, bad move. Derby, rail. Nobody wins from the rail anymore in the Derby, and nobody will. And then the last two, he gets passed by Mindframe. Gets passed by Mindframe and Timberlake, and he wins both races. This horse is a fighter. Put it this way: if a horse beats him, you watch. If Dornock's here, the other horse is going to be here. He's not going to get close to Dornock, because when Dornock sees you, he fights you, he beats you.
And would you agree? Currently, the leader of the division, right off the Belmont and the Haskell.
To me, it's not even a question. You're a 2-time Grade 1 winner. Throw in the Fountain of Youth. It's a good race to win. Yeah. Okay, maybe you don't like the field, but there's some other races you could sell. He's the clear leader of the 3-year-old male division. Now, could that change on Saturday? Yeah, but he still probably leaves as the leader, but maybe not the clear leader. If Sierra Leone wins, then they both have 2 Grade 1s, and they both beat each other a couple of times, and we have to take it on to the fall. Look, championships aren't made to be won in August. Yeah. But you sort of define you leave the Travers figuring out, okay, this guy is in front, and this is what has to happen for him to stay in front. But to me, if Dornock wins, it's over. 3 Grade 1s, it's over.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But Sierra Leone and Dornock, I think it's gonna be one those two, and then look, the filly. I don't know what to do with the filly. I think she's obviously the dominant horse in her division. How good is that division? Power Squeeze is a nice horse. Showed up and won the Alabama. What price would Power Squeeze be here in this one? I think she's got a lot to prove. Plus, she's been strong in the mornings, and she's got the rail. She's got a break, and if she does break, does she find herself in the mix of Dornoch and fierceness and batten down?
That's what I'm worried.
So I just think Sierra Leone is the most consistent of the group, and I think he gets to run his race Saturday, and I think this time it'll be good enough.
But it is funny. I've heard a bunch of people podcasts and whatnot this week. I'm going to give Sierra Leone one more.
And I think I've probably given him more shots than I know. Usually I get off like, okay, I've had enough. This time I'm sort of going to about one more time. And then what'll happen? He'll get beat, and then I'll get off from the Breeders' Cup Classic, and then I'll win that race at 13-1, beating all the Japanese horses, Ushpa Tesoro and Forever Young and Dermasoda Gaki. They're all supposed to be showing up.
That's what we got to love about the game. All right, let's go one race earlier. It is the Jerkins, 7 furlongs for the 3-year-olds. And I pulled up a replay going back to the Jersey Shore Bookham Dano, who, boy, speaking of Forever Young, that race in Saudi Arabia earlier this year, the close-up to Forever Young, and then comes back, puts in a couple of stakes wins, the Woody Stevens here, and then this Jersey Shore we're watching. He's intriguing, electing to go here rather than Charlestown is notable. Lee Einseidler and Bill Mott, kind of interesting that they off the maiden win, which may have been a little bit of a light bulb moment for Reynolds Channel. I had Junior Alvarado in here yesterday talking about Jefferson Street a little bit. He liked that one. Domestic product for Chad. Interesting. Timberlake, we'll see on the cutback what that one does for Brad. Prince of Monaco comes in for Bob Baffert. Another very intriguing stakes race on the Saturday card.
It is. And now I know you showed that race because you wanted to show Bookham Dano, but who finished second there?
Oh, well,
Little Need,
yeah,
who was on the outside, who's now been sold, bought and sold and transferred to Mark Cassie, and will probably be 20-1 in this spot.
Yeah.
And the way Cassie's horses are running, don't throw that one out at your own peril, because it's interesting. He gave Bookham Dano everything he wanted and more in a 4-horse field. It would be interesting him drawing on the outside. This is a fun race. It's probably the funnest race on the card, if that's a word, funnest. I'll go with Prince of Monaco just because I think his bad break last time in the Woody Stevens cost him the race. If he breaks better, then I think he's gets better position, and I think he'll get the job done. It was his first race since the Breeders' Cup. This is probably what he wants to do. 1 turn 7/8. I don't think Bob's sending the horse here just because you want. For no reason. So I think it's a real fun race.
Yeah.
You can go a lot of different ways. Flavian Pratt could have gone a lot of different ways. He went with domestic product. He explained himself in my story. Basically, he's been a fan of this horse since before he ever ran, was really baffled by his first start when he was a 2-year-old. The horse really ran well in the Dwyer. I thought the Dwyer was a little bit of a hungry race, but I'll just give Prince of Monaco a slight edge here.
And I'm glad you mentioned Little Knee and Mark Cassie, because we were talking about the human stories. And yeah, Mark Cassie, talk about red hot.
12 wins. It's amazing.
Yikes. And on 2-year-old races doing very well also. All right, let's take a look at the Forego. Again, one of the favorite races for a lot of people during the year. Grade 1 event, 7 furlongs, $500,000 up for grabs. I pulled up the Hanshin going back to Churchill Downs late June. Cagliostro, the winner there. Cherie DeVoe having a very good summer. Baby Yoda, kind of the enigmatic Baby Yoda. The win 2 back certainly puts that horse in the mix. But the follow-up in the Vanderbilt leaves you scratching your head. Mulligan is going to take clearly a lot of action off the win streak. What are your thoughts on the Forego?
Well, it's going to be a fun hour, potentially a fun hour for either Cherie DeVoe or Rudolph Brissett. They both have 2 horses in grade 1s, and I think in sort of back-to-back efforts here. And I like Cagliostro here for Cherie because I like the outside draw for him. They seem to be cutting him back in distance gradually, because when you look at the races that are out there for him, 2 turns, which he's won 2-turn stakes this year. I think this is the way they think that he might appreciate. He gets a little pace out there. Should be able to get a clean face trip, and the workouts seem very strong at Keelan.
Yeah.
She told me he's been working with Pyrenees. Pyrenees won the Pimlico Special, was second in the Stephen Foster to Kings Barnes, and is going to run here next weekend in the Jockey Club Gold Cup.
Oh.
So I think that's a good sign for Cagliostro. Mulligan has this weird habit that I think you have to pay attention to a little bit, but it's a luck of the draw. When he gets in the gate, he lowers his head. He sort of puts his head down, and then he steps back up. You just don't want to open the gates when he got his head down, and then you have to leave him alone. And the jock knows to do it, and the handler knows not to touch him. But there's always that chance that if the gates open when his head is down, he's going to get off slowly. So it's inside baseball type stuff, but it's stuff that you just wonder about what happens if they pop the gate open at the wrong time. Baby Yoda loves Saratoga. Maybe he's in every other horse. I'll tell you a horse that's not getting a lot of publicity here, but it's Gun Pilot. This horse ran a really good race in the Churchill Downs when he won the Grade 1 on Derby Day. Maybe he came back too fast, too soon, I should say, when he was third in the True North. He's had a lot of time to prepare for this race and get over those hard efforts. Cooler weather has helped him, and Steve Asmussen trains him. He's won 3 of the last 5 races, 4 goes.
And the triple digit at Churchill, and then the follow up was the beaten favorite that day at 3-5. I was going to take an extra look at a beaten favorite, certainly. The Ballerina in the race before that. Looking forward to this. With Vava, as talented as she is, comes in with a couple of race win streak. We'll take a look at the Chicago last time down at Churchill towards the end of June. This is even money on the morning line. We'll see how that works out by the time they get to post time, but she certainly is very talented. Scylla, Society, Chi-Town Lady. What are your thoughts on the Ballerina?
Billy Mott's intrigued me here with a move that he doesn't make very often. He's running Scylla back in 3 weeks off a trip to California and shortening her up from 2 turns to a 1-turn race here. I don't take that lightly, and I think the price is going to be right. Scylla's been 2 to 1 or less in most of her races. I don't think she'll be that. It's on Saturday. I think she'll be a good price, and I'm willing to take a ride with Bill Mott on the cutback off a second to Adair Manor, who arguably is the top older dirt female in the country, especially at least out in California. And Scylla's in very good form, but maybe she'll appreciate the cutback. And her 1-turn races have all been very good. Maybe she's just better now, and maybe that'll show itself out here, because there's a million ways to go here in this spot. But my only concern is, does she really like Saratoga? She's run twice here. She was second once. She hasn't really been here. Cherie has kept her away from here to train and just said, I'll just bring her in. And as she's done with Cagliostro's training in Keeneland as well. But Bob has run here a couple times and just hasn't, maybe fired her best shots here. So I'm willing to take a shot against that and ride with Bill Mott here on a race that I think will set up for a lot of pace. I think she'll sit a bit of a trip. And, like I said, she was in good form. She's been in good form all year. Just maybe the cutback will help her.
Yeah, you're right. Intriguing Bill Mott move. 3 weeks off a cross-country trip, come back, cut back. That is certainly worth taking a look at. And finally, the Sword Dancer Grade 1 event, 1.5 miles on the grass. I pulled up a replay of Silver Knot winning the Bowling Green for Charlie Appleby. Small field, intriguing field perhaps. But I thought off of the win streak this one has, kind of logical in here. What did you think?
I'm going to make it very simple for you. Measure Time is essential.
Okay. All right.
Measure Time is a really good horse.
The other Charlie Appleby. Well, maybe I'm the other.
No, you're the other Charlie Appleby. Measure Time. Show the Manhattan tomorrow, and that was a heck of a race. And I think that horse was just getting warmed up. This horse is this was a serious horse. He's won 12 graded stakes, Charlie Appleby, in the U.S. this year. I think this is the best horse he's run in this country.
All right. Well, that did make it easy.
Dave,
appreciate the visit. And, this may be the last visit, so we appreciate your popping in all season long. As I say, we may get an emergency fill-in spot or something. But if not, we really appreciate it. And tell people to check out yourworkdrf.com, the hard copy as well. Pick up the workout reports. But, again, appreciate the visits.
Seth, thank you.
All right, we'll take a break. He's in the house, Brad Cox. We will talk a little idiomatic and more with Brad right after this. Stay tuned.
Capital OTB is now streaming live on Roku. The RTN Racing channel on Roku lets you watch OTB TV live through your Roku device or your Amazon Fire Stick, rather than being limited to computers and mobile devices, which means you can now watch OTB live wherever you are. Simply open Roku, scroll to find the RTN channel, then click on OTB TV. OTB TV on Roku, Try it now.
Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Whoops. My bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
Welcome back to Racing Across America. As promised before the break, joined now by our friend Brad Cox. Brad, good morning.
Morning, Seth. Thanks for having me on.
Happy to have you on. And I'm curious. It seems like maybe you're spending some time in Kentucky this summer. I haven't seen you up here as much as
Yeah,
usual.
I've been up here probably, I guess, a total of probably 14 days, and I'm going to probably stay till the end of the meet. So,
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say half and half, maybe just a little bit more Kentucky, but bouncing back and forth.
Got a good team up here, though.
Yeah. My son's here, Blake.
Yeah.
Blake, he's runs the show here, and then Dustin's downstate, obviously at Belmont, sends up competitive horses. He's done a great job down there, and kind of saved our meet. I feel like a lot of our New York breds have performed well, so it's a good team in place.
Looms Boldy, right?
Yeah, Looms Boldly.
Looms Bold for
Graham Big.
yeah,
Marshall
for
Graham, yeah.
Marshall and
Nice horse.
named for Pete Fornatel's
Yep, for
handle. So nice little New York bred. New York program. If you have a nice New York bred, what I always say, if you have a nice New York bred, you have plenty of options because you can go to New York bred races or pick some open company.
Yep, we had one win yesterday, nice colt. So it's a great program. It's definitely benefits owners, breeders, owners, trainers. It's the whole deal. It's a great opportunity for horses.
Let's get into it tomorrow. Personal Ensign, you have Idiomatic in there. We're going to take a look at the Molly Pitcher. This was kind of a ding-dong battle down here. Idiomatic's going to be the number 6 horse, Soul of an Angel, who is also in tomorrow, the number 4 horse. Give us your thoughts here on the results. He digs in and gets it done. But what were your thoughts, Molly Pitcher, and coming out of the Molly Pitcher?
Well, it was an odd run race. I mean, to go that slow early, it just kind of turned it into a sprint from, I'd say, the 3.5 on. She showed her she's a true champion, obviously, and really had to, really battle to win. But she came out of the race great. She's been up here ever since. The next morning, she caught a van up, and she's had 3 great works since, and I think she's set up for a big effort here. She likes it here at Saratoga. Obviously, it didn't work out quite as well as we were hoping Belmont week, but she ran a great race. I think she was beaten, just being a little wide around the turns. But hey, look, that's how the race unfolded. I was proud of the race. I was proud of her, the effort she put in, and she did everything but win. And she didn't know she lost, and here we are again.
And we showed the FIPS earlier with Dave, where she ran second to randomized back in tomorrow as the Soul of an Angel. But give us your expectations tomorrow in the personal Ensign.
Well, the expectation's to win, and she certainly acts like she's ready to run a big race. So we have a lot of confidence in her. She just had a gallop here about an hour ago on the main track. She's moving as well as she's ever moved. Just really just striding out, and looks like she's ready for a big effort. She's actually going to the paddock to school again today, and excited about giving her an opportunity at another Grade 1 at Saratoga. So there's no confidence lost in her last 2 runs at all with me.
And again, that was a ding-dong battle, but it's a gutsy battle. You got to feel like, you got to have some confidence that she just wouldn't lose.
Yeah, I mean, she showed that in the Breeders' Cup last year. I mean, that was her in randomized, ran tremendous races to stay on, going 1 mile and 1/8 out there. People seem to think like, Santa Anita, fast track. It was a very demanding track. Riders, I don't know how many we ran total that weekend, but all the riders come back and say, man, this track's hard for these horses to get through. And, both of them ran great races. And, they obviously have stepped up and both been Grade 1 winners at the age of 4 and 5. So looking forward to the rematch tomorrow.
So, looking forward to the personal Ensign. We'll kind of kick off in fine fashion Travers weekend. You also have a couple entered on the Travers Stakes undercard in the Jerkins. Let's get some idea. Vitriano will be in along with Timberlake. I pulled up a replay of June 29th for Vitriano down at Belmont at Aqueduct. 3 starts so far in the career, 2 wins. They've both been this season down at Belmont at Aqueduct, including the one we're looking at. He is a nice little New York-bred runner and was facing state-bred competition. What are your thoughts coming up Saturday for Vitriano and the Allen Jerkins?
It was 2 starts this year. I mean, obviously they're visually impressive. They were against state-breds. I do feel confident he can run against open company. The question is it Grade 1 open company, and is it right now? His numbers stack up. His 2 runs, like I said, have been visually great. The numbers come back fast. I feel like we've brought him along at a good pace. We've not thrown too much at him too quick. We've not given him an opportunity to bounce off these numbers. The bottom line is he's going to the deep end of the pool tomorrow.
Yeah.
Will he sink or will he swim? I don't know. I don't know if anyone ever really knows, but he's going to get his opportunity.
The win 2 back to break the maiden 6.5. The last one was a mile, being Belmont at Aqueduct. It was a 1-turn mile. You would think the 7's going to hit him right between the eyes.
Yeah, if you look at it on paper and look at his numbers, and once again, back to the actual races, you can't dislike the horse. I mean, he looks the part. Once again, it's just, can he compete when he's eyeballing Grade 1 horses? If he can, it'll be tough because he does have speed. He'll put himself in the race, and it'll just be a class thing. And you never know until you ask him.
Yeah, and it's a nice field, including Timberlake pulled up. Went back to Oaklawn back in February. We're going to look at the Rebel. Timberlake's going to be the number 7 horse here and get it done. Subsequently 4th in the Arkansas Derby, 3rd last time in the Haskell, which we watched earlier with Dave. And now you're cutting back on Saturday for Timberlake. So what are the expectations in the Jerkins for this one?
Well, kind of the opposite of Vetriano in regards to can he handle the competition. I really believe he can handle the competition, and he's a Grade 1 winner. He's proven. Ran a big number in the Breeders' Cup last year, even though he ran 4th. I think the cutback's probably what he's wanting. He's proven around 2 turns having won the Rebel, but what is he best at? I do think it could be 1-turn racing. This was kind of our plan all along with bringing him back. He was training so well there at Churchill. We thought we'd take a swing off the fence, off the layoff in the Grade 1 going 1 mile and 1/8. Run a very, very good race to be 3rd. And probably at the 8th pole, thought, okay, probably needs to go to the Allen Jerkins. But, look, it was a good effort off the layoff. I do think he'll move forward number-wise, but he's going to have to. It's a competitive race. And if he gets a good trip, I think he's going to be right there.
Very good. Also wanted to hit on a couple others coming up over the next couple of days. You have 2 that are a little bit intriguing. Jace's Road for our friends at West Point. Hasn't been seen since the Kentucky Derby last year, but goes Saturday in the 4th race in an optional claimer, non-winners of 2 other than event. What are you expecting on the return for Jace's Road?
I think he's going to run real well. I think he's competitive with the group of horses. I'm not going to sit here and say he's going to win off a 1.5-year layoff, but I thought it was a really good race for him to get started. We had some issues with him last fall after we brought him back. He rebounded really well. He physically he looks phenomenal, and I mean he's really moving well. So look, probably needs the race, but I think he fits with the group.
And he's been training at Horseshoe Indy.
Yeah, that's just kind of where he ended up this summer, and we actually were pointing for it too, other than there. Thought we'd make it as easy on him as we could. First race back, race didn't get much action. I think he was the only horse entered. Saw this race on the overnight. It had been setting on the overnight for 4 or 5 days. Talked to Keith, the racing secretary, and he gave me, good insight that he thought it would go at some point. So we kind of circled this race for the last week or so, and I think he'll run well.
Coming up on Saturday with Jace's Road, the return for Jace's Road. Tomorrow in the opener, you have a first-timer. I always like to get some thoughts on a first-timer from LNJ Foxwoods. Stunner by Gervin. Gervin, a good sire, first out runners, has a nice string of workouts. What do you expect tomorrow in the debut effort for Stunner?
I expect a big effort. I mean, she ran really well last week, or breezed very well last week at Churchill. She's fast. Thought she drew well. She doesn't run with blinkers. She's never needed them. I think she's just naturally talented and fast. And, I think if she breaks clean, she'll be right there. She's, had a nice gate work there at Churchill. Followed it up with a big move last week at Churchill, going 5/8. Just kind of cruised around there. And, she give me enough confidence off that to pursue this Saratoga race. And, she's very professional too. Obviously, we wouldn't have shipped her up if we thought she needed to run out of her own stall or anything. She settled in well here, and hopefully she runs big.
I don't know if I ever asked a trainer or a jockey before, but at 6 furlongs, does the outside post position bother you? Well, the 8 probably not, but the outside without anybody on the outside, is that a concern?
Yeah, it's always a concern. And if she breaks and goes outward tomorrow, it's going to be a concern, but there's not much I can do about it at that point. It's probably – she's pretty good. She's pretty fast, so I think she'll be forwardly placed and should break and go forward, knock wood. But I think there's always that concern, and obviously the one hole. I mean, I think I'd probably – I don't know. Some people say, I'd rather have the outside or the inside as opposed to the outside. I don't know. I'd probably prefer the outside with first-timers, and it all has to do with the individual. She's very sensible. She has a good mind, so I would expect her to break running. And in her only gate work with us, she actually broke on the outside of another filly and went forward.
Yeah, okay. As I said, I was just curious because you think post position going 2 turns, you're a little more concerned, but the 6 furlongs, it's just interested on those kind of thoughts. Wanted to pull up also going back to Wednesday. You had a nice first-time starter, Sacrosanct, get it done, be the number 9 horse here in this replay. Again, first-time starter, purchased earlier this year at the Facing sale in May. Were you part of the purchase, or did you go to the sale?
No, I was Kerry Ratcliffe and Clay Share teamed up to buy this colt. He's been down at Belmont with Dustin. He liked the horse a good bit. First time he breezed him, he said, this horse acts like he can really run. Obviously, came out of a 2-year-old cell. Yeah. He worked 10 flat on the dirt. He was a good mover. Very professional horse. Another one that run without blinkers. He's kind of similar to what you were talking about. He broke from the outside, but he had a horse on the outside. He broke from the outside, but had a horse on the outside of him. I thought Manny Franco did a very good job with him yesterday, because if he doesn't really hustle him to get the position he had at the half-mile pole, he probably would have been mid-pack, maybe taken some dirt. Not that we had to win yesterday, but we thought he was good enough to win the first time. Manny did a good job of putting him in a good position, tracking a horse, and finishing up. I do think he'll stretch a little bit. Obviously, he's by a sire that makes him eligible for the sire race in December at Aqueduct. So that'll probably be what we'll point for with him. Not sure if we'll have 1 or 2 races prior to that, but that would be the plan with him moving forward.
And Honest Mischief, I think, is starting to become a little bit interesting.
We have another one that actually appears. She's actually Kentucky bred, the Juddmonte owns. She seems like she's a decent filly. We may bring her up here and start her at Aqueduct.
What's her name?
Honest Mischief. Decree and Declare.
Decree and Declare.
Yes.
I like that. The Sacrosanct again looked very good yesterday. And I wanted to touch on a few nice wins you've had over the past month or so, and just get ideas of where we might look for these runners going forward. The Cowboy Jones down at Ellis on August 11th. Saudi Crown in a nice little field in the stakes race down at Ellis. Saudi Crown got it done. This is going back to August 11th. Going to be the number 6 horse here. Nice race from Saudi Crown. What might be next for that one?
looking at the ACAC with him at Churchill.
Okay.
It's a 1-turn mile, but it's just kind of a race that fits well on the calendar with the distance. He's run well at Churchill in the past, and that would hopefully be enough for a race to give us an opportunity to make his third race off the dirt mile. It should be a 2-turn dirt mile at Del Mar, and we'll hopefully take that next step toward the Breeders' Cup.
Was the game plan here just to get him started back?
That's it.
Hadn't been seen since Dubai. It
Yeah.
was also over at Saudi, so just to get him started back.
Yeah, he had a long winter. We sent him to Dr. Wes Sutter when he cleared quarantine here in the U.S. He said, man, he's a really clean horse. We thought we'd let him pick grass at WinStar a while. Got him back up training, and just thought this would be a great race to kind of fill in or get him started, I should say, and then the ACAC, and then hopefully we see enough from him to pursue the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile.
Just looking at that, had to put him over $3 million. So Saudi Crown has been very nice, certainly. Also, same day, earlier in the day, Most Wanted gets it done in the Ellis Park Derby. And I got a couple of 3-year-olds here coming out of derbies that I'm curious what you're going to do going forward, because Most Wanted, 2 for 2 coming into the race, now 3 for 3, including a little derby. So lightly raced for Gary and Mary West. What are you thinking about for Most Wanted?
Race-wise, I'm not sure, but
Okay.
I would tell you that he came out of the race in great shape. He's a very good colt. He's got a great mind. I think he will go further. I think he'll handle the 2 turns. He's obviously had the 2 runs there at Ellis. They're around the turn and a half. He galloped out well the other day, and I think he's a very, very good colt. Like you said, he's a half to life is good, and I think he's got a big future. We liked him pretty much all year. We had him last year. Really wasn't doing as well as we needed him to do. We kicked him out. The West are really good about giving horses time. Brought him back, and he's been spot on week in, week out. We liked him first time. Really had to fight with a little bit of, I thought, a rough trip. We thought he'd break well. He didn't break quite as well as we thought first time. He was wide throughout, finished up, and then obviously he beat some seasoned horses in his second run, and then was able to hold off a decent horse there last time. I did will him back in 3 weeks. I wasn't a fan of doing that with the development of a horse, but the race was just coming up with a shorter field, so we thought we'd take a chance, and he's really responded well. He's a good caller. I really like him.
And how tough is that? Well, I guess I was going to say, how tough is that to be patient when you have a 2-year-old with that kind of breeding? But I guess it all depends on the owners. If you have because it usually pays off, but the owners have to buy in.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like if the horse isn't doing well or he's not moving forward, it's easy to make the decision because you're not it's not like you're just going to snap your finger and, he's just going to all of a sudden start doing well. He needed time.
Yeah.
He's not a great big horse. He's medium sized, good mover, clean legged. He's just he's just a horse that wasn't going to be a 2-year-old. And, you see that a good bit with Candy Brides. They tend to get a little better with age, and I think he's one that will.
And I wanted, before we let you go, touch on one more. We're going to look at the West Virginia Derby going back to the beginning of the month. Dragoon Guard gets it done. Another talented runner. This is career start number 5 and 4 win. The 4th win, 4-win streak, actually, with the West Virginia Derby. Prior to that, won the Indiana Derby. So you got a 2-time Derby winner, Dragoon Guard. What might be next for him?
We're looking at the PA Derby with him.
Okay.
Yeah, it's what we've it's plan A right now. Well, he's doing really well. He's gonna have his first work back tomorrow, since the he'll have his first work back on Saturday. But he came out of the West Virginia in good shape. Wheeled him back in 4 weeks off the Indiana Derby win. That was the whole plan, was to either run him Indiana Derby, West Virginia Derby, PA Derby, or Indiana Derby straight to the Travers. I honestly, right now at this point in his career, I think he might be just number-wise a step below the top horses, and there's nothing wrong with his pedigree. I could see him easily getting to where these horses are in the Travers on Saturday, but it may take him a little bit more time to get there. He's a good colt. He's done nothing.
Race.
Yeah, he's done nothing wrong. A big frame. Juddmonte obviously is very patient, allows you to do what you need to do with the horses, and I think he's a good colt. The best is yet to come.
Yeah, nicely bred Arrogate out of Fulham there and running well. So we'll look for him potentially in the Pennsylvania. Where is he now?
He's at Churchill.
Yes. Which is essentially your base.
Yeah, it's home base for us.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have to have good horses here, and we've got a nice collection of good horses here. But if they're not going to run here, they normally stay at Churchill.
Right. Brad, we really appreciate the visit because we know it's always busy up here at Saratoga, coming into a big stakes weekend as well. But we appreciate your stopping by. Wish you good luck over the weekend and going forward as well. And we'll talk again.
Thanks, Seth.
All right. Take a break. When we come back, Kevin Cox, and a little bit later on, we'll talk some boxing. All of that coming up when Racing Across America continues. Stay tuned.
Why just watch the races when you can be in the middle of the action? For nearly 20 years, Bonaventure Stables' share-based ownership program has made thoroughbred ownership affordable for the everyday fan. Ownerships of 5 and 10% are now available on a nice selection of horses. As a partial owner with Bonaventure Stables, you'll enjoy all the benefits afforded every owner. Visit with your horse in the private stable area. Greet the trainers and jockeys in the paddock. And when your horse wins, savor the moment in the winner's circle at Saratoga, Belmont, Aqueduct, or wherever you bring home the prize. Based in historic Saratoga Springs, Bonaventure Stables has been training winners and creating memories since 2005. Learn more, see available horses, and meet our team at bonaventurestables.com.
Welcome back to Racing Across America. It is an every other Thursday, which means we're joined by our friend Kevin Cox, the Brooklyn Cowboy. Good morning.
The better half of the Cox entry today, right? I like to start him out with a laugh. I always like to keep my audience riveted.
Oh, you had the good me laughing picture that you sent me. That was very good from your last visit.
Perfect timing, yeah.
Very good. I saw you in the winner's circle. What was the last couple of days? Our friends at Saratoga were down in the winner's circle, right?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of get lost with all those people in there, but I think that's their second win on the meet.
Nice.
They got some good horses in the barn this year.
Yeah, I always like to root for Jack and company. You got the Travers Day bankroll coming up. I think either if you're on the team, you've either got alerted or shortly will be. We closed the entries late yesterday, so everybody who's on the team should have heard or will hear shortly. But you ready? You looked at the card? You ready to fire?
Well, yeah, I looked at the card a couple of days ago. But all the bankroll bets we've made so far, I think we have made $8,500 in bets and $14,605 in returns.
That's all right.
In addition to the plays of the day, which is also going to be Friday and Saturday, where we look for 3 straight years. We're just about there. I think they have me doubling up on a bet on Saturday.
Oh, because of the cancellation.
Because of the cancellation.
Yeah.
I was gonna ride my $400 batting average, but Shannon would have none of it. He said you're going out like Ted Williams, and you're going to double up your bet on Saturday. So we got that going on, and showing a flat bet profit in the column since opening day, courtesy of that big winner.
Oh, the Queen's MG.
The Queen's MG.
With Dylan Davis, who has continued unconsciously knocking out prices throughout the meet.
Yeah, he's having his best meet, and Gaffalione is actually buying the second right now, or he's in second in the standings. And I think Maker had 3 yesterday, so he might only be 3 or so behind Chad going into
Chad has a 3-win lead, exactly.
A 3-win lead, which is kind of something to get excited about, I guess. But we're looking for a flat bet profit in the column for 2 straight years here. So I'm sweating it out because all these off the turf races, and I think I have a flu coming on, a 2-week flu, and I'll just sort of sit it out.
Should be fun though, and you mentioned off the turf, but the weekend looks great. We're on the turf today, so knock wood, things hold up through the Travers. That's what it looks like.
Not press board.
That counts. All right, let's take a look at a little action from this afternoon. We will kick things off with some thoughts in the stakes race, the Ballston Spa. We were talking on the handicapping show earlier. You could point to any of them and have equal confidence, I think. But I just thought Gino Romantica was best in here, so I kind of defaulted there. But Delahaye, to me, is going to be interesting for Chad Brown. What did you see in the Ballston Spa?
Well, in preparation for this 3 Chads in the Todd race, I watched 3 Men and a Baby last night, So it was originally going to be a 4 Chads in the Todd, but Coppice is out, who was originally my 3rd choice. I, too, went with the 5. Gina Romantica, 5-1-4. I love the declining mark career, 14 starts, 5 wins, 2 placings in a showing. Shows that, she knows where the line is and often gets overlooked at the windows, if you'll see. The last 3 wins are 11-1, 9-2, and 14-1. And both times she's been favored, or 3 times she's been favored, 2 wins and like a half a length loss. Common sense selection here. And my second choice was surprisingly, the Toddster there. The adjusted figure 2 starts back, breaking from the 13 hole, was a 101.1. You could kind of draw a line through the last, bobbling a bit at the break. Say that 3 times fast. Win in a placing when breaking from the inside, the only 2 times she's done such. And you're going to get a little bit of value here. Not going to be 6-1 with the scratch, probably going to be 9-2, give or take. Now, I'm not going to say the name. Number 4, Boo Cachet. Is that what you say? Boo Cachet?
I'll go with that. I think you're as close as I would get.
Sure, make me look like the knucklehead, right? Thanks. But anybody that watched that turf stakes yesterday, I was kind of nauseated. The fractions being said, nobody challenges it. Oh, let's ride for second. It was sickening. That could happen today with this one because there's no other speed in the race. It's it's staring at you right in the face, but I just can't get to the animal per se on top. So this one could land for 3rd. Not that it matters because there's no triple betting, but for your rolling bet purposes. So 5-1-4 there.
4th race this afternoon. We're looking at plain vanilla 20 claimers going 3/4 of a mile. I put the 9 on top in this one. Brighter days ahead. Comes in off a nice win, claimed out of that. It was a conditional claimer at 25, now goes for an open 20. I thought this horse was going to be interesting. Gaffleon sticks, had the 6 underneath, Master of Arms, Morning Line favorite, Logical, and Saphis Day. Has some back numbers that we have to get to, but I put the 9 on top. What did you see in the 4th?
One thing about your 9 is kept in jail since the claim, so eligible to be back to drop in class 25%. D'Angelo's looking for his 2nd win on the meet. And landed on 1A, 6-2. Mr. JT was a troubled 2nd last time out in his lone start on the track when bumping during the course of the race. I like when the pre-claim pilot comes back for a different trainer. Obviously, it's the meet's leading rider. And there's a DRF formulated stat in play here. Cantamachi is 5 of 8 with freshly claimed dirt runners who won 10 to 14 days ago that are moving up in class 50%. That's one of those DRF formulated things. Up in class, down in class, whatever. With a 425 ROI. Very sensible selection here. Master of Arms. You have to go back on the page or off the page a little bit. Has won his last 2 times when eligible for purchase. And is okay at today's distance of ground. Makes all kinds of sense. And Scaramanga, my buddy Jimmy Ferraros, was forced to scratch yesterday. This is a rule I do not like. I've inquired about it with some higher ups, and if you're cross-entered, they make you scratch the day before. The horse was a main track only yesterday, an off the turf race. The race got cannibalized a little bit. You could have got another horse in there and just left him out of this race where there are 9 horses. It's a house rule, not a state rule. I wish they would use a little bit more common sense in that regard.
I've never quite understood that rule either.
You use common sense. See how many entries are in the next day. Leave it up to the discretion of Braulio, any of the stewards. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be that. The horse was ready to go yesterday. Also in a softer spot with 6-1 on the morning line would have been less.
And you
than
want
that.
those MTOs to come in.
Right. Especially because I think that might have been a couple of horses less than this race, but it just makes sense for the bettors, for the horsemen that specifically entered in that. Just think if it was a stakes race and you enter as an MTO, you couldn't go if you were cross-entered in an allowance race the next day.
Yeah.
You lose the chance to get black type, give or take. So anyway, Scaramanga was scratched yesterday, but got the job done. Only start on the strip, 2 for 4 at the distance, and even if the horse doesn't do well today, Jimmy's done well with claims over the last couple of years going forward. And boy, do I hate that expression. I hate that expression like I hate hundredths of a second.
You mentioned that when you sat down. You've got a thing about announcers and hundredths.
I'm doing my Anthony again. I'm doing my lean back. I've never been at the track standing next to somebody when the announcer says 47 and 78 hundredths of a second, and the guy next to me says, that's a little bit too slow. I was looking at 47.72. I've never heard that. Listen, put it on the screen. You want to say it after the race, say it after the race. It's always in the racing form. And I feel announcers that do it religiously should be jettisoned to the sun. And to their credit, Frank Miramati, Tony Callow, and Pete Aiello do not do it. And Frank, what he does is, if the horse goes 46.38. He'll say during the race, just a tick below 46 and 2. And I love that. Just please. I feel like Mike Starr in Dumb and Dumber, who's in the front seat and he just can't take it anymore between Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels, and he's just just enough. Too many syllables. Concentrate on other things. That's my grumpy man take.
I never noticed it, but now I will. Now it will be stuck in my head
forever.
Yeah. Sixth race today. One of the restricted maiden specials. Talked about it this morning on the handicapping show. This was a great addition to the condition book, particularly up here at Saratoga, where the maiden specials can be loaded. I went with 5 Mez California. A little bit of breeding there for the Ken McPeak runner, but all 3 of mine in here are making the same move, coming out of 2 dirt sprints, stretching on the turf. Whichever one of them takes to the turf, I think is going to be interesting. But I'm 5, 6, 7, and 9. What did you see?
I like that dirt angle when a horse fades in the dirt sprint and is going long. Not so much that they're successful in the dirt sprint. I like when they pop and stop, because sometimes they can go all the way if they're able to relax a little bit on the front end. My original beatable favorite was scratched in this race, Bossy Dish. I had no idea why the horse was 3-1 at all. Terrible turf pedigree. I was going to make Mezza California a beatable favorite because the Tomlinson is only 254 for the turf. I still might do it when I amend my column when I get back home. I went 2, 6, 9. Annie Goodbody. I have a goodly amount of things written down here. The Maternal Grand Dam was grade 1 placed and a multiple stakes winner on the turf. Low percentage jockey trainer combo on the meet, and sure, maybe better than 8-1 odds. You just don't know. Only one with turf experience in the field. That's one of those things that you could be kicking yourself afterwards. And then let this horse go up. Only one that raced on the turf. Had this horse go up at friggin' 8-1, 10-1, whatever. Had a best lifetime ever workout on Bijou Day, August 13th, a bullet. Baby Z pattern in the last, lost a couple of lengths from the quarter to the half, and then gained a bunch back from that point to the finish line. And 3 members of the family tree have a win and a neck loss the first time they went in a turf route. So there's a lot of things to like here with this one. Second choice was Tekka, the one you like. Blinkers off. In the money, both starts so far. Pedigree is a bit unproven on the turf, so that's why I left her beneath. And as of now, third choice is Authenticate now. Half to Noble Bird, grade 1 winner. Tomlinson figure is unproven for the turf, but does have excellent pedigree if you go back in the family tree. I might amend my column when I get home because the 11 did draw in Margot's Margarita. One of those turn the page things, you get inflated odds like Seth did with the 9 horse. It was on the next page. I'll take a look at that 11 when I get home. So be sure to refresh your pages in about an hour or so.
Absolutely. You mentioned Bijou, your dad, and you tweeted out the memorial. You tweeted out a picture of a sports celebrity visit the memorial section.
Sandy Koufax, the legendary Sandy Koufax made it. And I don't understand people that there's always a hand like 3%. That's not Sandy Koufax. Look at his forearms. Look at his legs. What's he doing in Saratoga? I mean, Sandy Koufax is allowed to be my father's favorite player too of all time, and I love watching that part of the baseball documentary. And even if it wasn't Sandy Koufax, just have fun with it. But it is him. He's a big-time horse player, and he's a Brooklyn boy, and running into a lot of stars this meet, other than myself, of course. There's another smile from Seth. Give us a smile.
This will wrap up your Thursday visits. You're every other Thursday, so next Thursday being the last Thursday. But we appreciate your stopping in, giving out some plays, and again, been a great meet so far. Kicking off with the Queens MG on opening day with a big price, and he continued right along.
Guaranteed a flat bet profit here because of that horse, and so next year as well.
So we congratulate you on all of that, and we wish you a lot of good luck. Certainly Saturday for the team, Travers Bankroll.
Yes, Travers Day, but I call it King's Bishop Day. That's my favorite race. More than the Derby, more than the Travers.
Okay.
Always love handicapping the King's Bishop. Listen, if you're drinking and driving, I say it every year, all right, I'm a little bit of a square. Leave your car where it is. Don't come back at 2 a.m. to get it, thinking the coast is clear and this and that. Leave it where it is. Don't be a knucklehead, all right? Do it anytime, but especially up here this week because they will bang you out.
Totally agree. Kevin, appreciate it. All right, we will talk again at some point, sir.
Promise?
I absolutely promise.
All right, I don't want to get DTs and not see you for a while.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, Lisa Elovich, as I said, nice boxing event coming up downtown next week. Capital OTB, one of the sponsors, so we'll promote that a little bit, give you some more info on that coming up. Stay tuned. Thank you.
Thank you for everything, bro.
Turn your love of racing into savings with equine discounts through the NTRA. Purchase through equine discounts and receive great savings on well-known brands like John Deere, Sherwin-Williams, Big Ass Fans, Farmers Insurance, and Office Depot. Join thousands of other equine members and support companies that give back to the sport we all love. Call 866-678-4289 or visit equinediscounts.com to start saving today.
Want to get your career in horse racing off to a fast start? Well, the University of Arizona's Racetrack Industry Program is your winning ticket. The Racetrack Industry Program has served as a springboard to some of the industry's most successful individuals, with a proven track record of job placement right out of college. If you want to earn a degree in the exciting horse racing industry, the Racetrack Industry Program can put you in the winner's circle.
What if there was a way to become a better horse player, to have a better knowledge of the game, to be more successful? What if there were a way to take what you've learned, what you know, and make better decisions, better choices? In horse racing, knowledge is a powerful tool. Race results and replays, past performances and live streaming, wagering from all your digital devices. Capital OTB. Become a better horse player.
Welcome back to Racing Across America. We're going to veer away from racing a little bit, but go to boxing. It's still up here in Saratoga. There's a nice event coming up next Wednesday down at the City Center. Fight for Hope and Capital OTB, one of the sponsors of the event. So we're bringing in Lisa Elovich to talk a little bit about the event next Wednesday. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm happy to have you. What is your title exactly in relation to the event?
So I have no official title. Okay. I'm on the board for the Ring of Hope Boxing Gym, and it's a wonderful boxing program and after-school mentorship program for inner-city kids in Schenectady. Gets kids off the streets, teaches them discipline, boxing, homework help. So it's a wonderful program.
And this benefits that.
And this boxing show is going to benefit that program. And we have some celebrities that will be there.
And notable celebrities.
Very notable. Larry Holmes, who's one of the best heavyweight boxers of all time, will be there. Many say the best jab ever in history. We also have Boom Boom Mancini, who is a huge fan favorite.
Yeah.
Jerry Cooney, who comes to Saratoga often, is a very famous champion boxer. And we also have Buddy McGirt. And so they will be the guests of honor along with some local pro boxers, Shannon Miller, Gary Wilcox, and others. So it's going to be a really exciting event for a great cause. And there's actually a lot of crossovers between boxing and racing. A lot of the same fans. And one of the original boxers, John Morrissey, created the racetrack.
Correct. Yeah, that's going back to in the day, as it were. There was that very direct connection, certainly historically. I know there are a lot of boxing fans in the racing community. I pulled up and put a graphic together with the website for a little more information. The website is ringofhopeboxingclub.org. So if you'd like more information on this event or just the Ring of Hope Boxing Club, you can find it there. As you see, next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Doors open at 6 p.m. And again, looks like it's going to be a fun night downtown.
Thank you so much. Yes, it's at the Saratoga City Center. We're also having a meet and greet with the celebrity boxers at the Adelphi Hotel at 5 p.m. And anyone interested in that can call the Adelphi Hotel directly. And that's next Wednesday as well.
That's good to know. So 5 p.m. Just down the street in the Adelphi, a little meet and greet. And again, those are all notable boxing names, certainly. So put that on your agenda. Again, a week from yesterday, City Center, and you can visit the website for more information, ticket information, and whatnot as well. I'm assuming tickets would be available the night of as well also.
Yes, tickets are available. You can be a walk-in the night of the show for tickets. That's not a problem at all. And would love to thank all of our sponsors, including OTB, for being so generous. And it's really a great cause. It's going to be so much fun, too.
Yeah, happy to participate because, again, as you say, goes to a nice cause, the Schenectady outfit down there. Lisa, before we let you go, I said when you sat down, when I had done my research, I saw you have your own tequila brand, and we have a bottle here, One with Life. Talk a little about what was the impetus to get into that.
So One with Life Tequila came after I was a boxing promoter. And my connection to boxing, I was a promoter for 7 years, and that's how I know OTB. You were always a great sponsor. In the entrepreneurial spirit, I created a tequila company, and it's called One with Life, being at peace in the present moment and just enjoying time connecting with people. This particular tequila expression, the Reposado, is dedicated to the pro boxers that I worked with, including Larry Holmes and Boom Boom Mancini. So there's some boxing gloves around the neck of it. And nice. You will find One with Life Tequila all around Saratoga and the capital region.
All right.
So, yeah, salute.
Very good. We'll look for it. Good luck with going forward with that, certainly. How long have you had it out?
I launched it 9 years ago in Saratoga. So it's doing well. It's in most of the liquor stores, most of the restaurants around here. Not at the track yet, but at Ciro's for anyone that...
right next door.
Yes. Yeah, thanks for mentioning it.
Yeah, again, One with Life Tequila. And also keep in mind, next Wednesday, Saratoga City Center, Fight for Hope, which benefits, again, the Ring of Hope Boxing Club down in Schenectady. ringofhopeboxingclub.org. You can see right there the website coming up Wednesday. next Wednesday, 7 p.m., Saratoga City Center. Again, doors will open at 6. And down the street at 5, the meet and greet with the celebrities at the Adelphi. All sounds like a lot of fun. Looking forward to it. We appreciate your updating us on the event.
Thank you so much.
All right, Lisa Elovich with the boxing event coming up next Wednesday. All right, going to wrap it up for this Thursday edition of Racing Across America. Again, looks like a nice day. They're on the turf today. Should be a fun day of racing ahead. Personal ensign tomorrow. Travers and plenty of stakes coming up on Saturday. And again, the weather forecasted to hold up nicely. We'll knock wood on that, but I think that is going to be the game plan. So if you're making plans to come up, I think we have a great weekend ahead, certainly of great racing. We'll be talking more about it over the next couple of days, and we'll be back in tomorrow, 9 a.m. for the handicapper support, 10 a.m. for Racing Across America. We'll see you then.
You've been watching Racing Across America. Racing Across America has been brought to you by Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. And the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. When you can't make it to the track, make it to the Clubhouse Racebook.
Also brought to you by Wizard Race and Sports.